until now, there's been this more of a resurgence of Stalin than Lenin. Lenin really has disappeared quite dramatically in the last 20 years.
Hi, Lenin. Hello, Lenin. It's too close. Helen and Lenin.
Yes, you know that in Russia, there were women called Ninel during the Soviet period. They christened them Ninel, which is Lenin backwards.
Well, there we are. I apologise, Helen, for calling you Lenin. What did you make of this survey? Is there an increase in popularity, sympathy towards Lenin and communism that is a sign of a changing public mood, or is it just the old thing about you start off left wing and get more right wing as you get older?
Oh, it's the it's the youth flirting with extremism, socialism, communism, anarchism, you name it. I remember when I first went up to uni, 18, 19, 20 years old, I joined the anarchist society. I went on the marches and the sit-ins and the demos. I threw flower bombs at Harold Wilson at Bradford. You do that when you're young. You explore and you experiment with ideas, and very often with young people, the ideas tend to be on the left. What's interesting about this poll is that really until now, there's been this more of a resurgence of Stalin than Lenin. Lenin really has disappeared quite dramatically in the last 20 years. I mean, when I was in Eastern Europe, and especially in the Baltic states, they were yanking down all the statues the minute they could get shot at them. I think it's a phase, it's a fad. I don't think it's going to last.
We do see, Rachel, in some other polling, when asked, do you like the concept of democracy? Are you favourable to all that, or would you rather have a strong man leader type? That's more popular, it seems, than younger people. There's a slight sense that if the settled consensus of capitalism, globalism, has failed young people. They can't buy anything. They can't get on in life. The last 20 years have been pretty grim economically. It's no wonder you might start thinking, but are some of these other ideas now worth returning to?
Yeah, sure. Although looking at this poll on Lenin, it may be 15% favourable, but 30% haven't heard of him.
Yeah.
38% actually.
Yeah.
So more than twice as many. So I think the 15% is slightly...
They're the hardcore ones. They've really signed up to the society. Yeah, go on, Helen.
Can I just add that I was actually alarmed about 10, 15 years ago to discover my youngest daughter's generation, she's now in her 30s, hadn't even heard of Lenin. They hadn't been taught about Lenin at school. And so Lenin had really fallen off his perch. And so I think the love affair with Lenin is a flash in the pan, really.
What do you think, Libby? You a fan of Lenin? What a question.
I joined the anarchist club too, actually, but they were so disorganised you could never find the meetings. But no, I had my own copy of the Communist Manifesto, and I can still sing you every verse of the Harry Pollitz song. But I think what it's about is disruptors. The young always value the idea of disruptors, something new and different. And now, of course, they're doing it with a sort of technical disruptors, the sort of worship of people who are tech bros and will disrupt everything. I think that's very natural when you're young. You do not totally accept the world around you, and if you're not going to turn into that kind of cartoon Tory boy thing of everything is all right, and gradually it wears off. But I remember rather fondly my flirtation with communism until I started reading a bit more history and thinking, oh, actually no, it's never been done properly.
The first thing that happened with me when I announced I was going to university in the late 60s to do Russian was, oh, you must be a communist, surely, to be studying Russian. And, my father, who had a civil service job, had to announce to them his daughter was going off to do Russian because I might have been a security risk to him.
Wow. Rachel, did you dabble? Did you dabble with communism, Rachel?
I've never dabbled with communism, but I think the interesting thing is that shift from left to right is perhaps not happening in the way it once did.